Good morning. This is the 0DTE morning analysis coming to you from St. John, New Brunswick. But we're going to be leaving here soon and heading on up to PEI, Prince Edward Island, in a couple of hours. I am Coach Ernie, and as I said, this is the 0DTE morning analysis where we take a look at our 0DTE trades as well as tail risk opportunities. It is Thursday, July 17, and this morning the futures are perking up a little bit. However, we've been mostly going sideways for this will be going on 10 days now, which gives me a little bit of a bearish bias. We're developing this kind of compression where we could break out at any time, or the sellers could take control and bring us down through this sort of illiquid area where we gapped up from 10 days ago. And so what it really comes down to is there going to be some sort of significant macro report that's going to really move the needle? I don't know. Right now, the VIX is hanging in there at 17.3. Just above the zombie land and inside Goldilocks, and giving us enough intraday movement where we can make some bank. Yesterday was a good example of that. Yesterday, I announced on the show that I had a bearish bias, and that was great in the first part of the day. So what I did in my trading is took an out-of-the-money put fly, quite wide, and sat there and then collected when that intraday move happened. It, of course, recovered, but by then I had already taken significant profit. So that's been kind of the story lately. I don't know. Maybe today's the day. Maybe tomorrow that we break out. I have no idea. I think it's really dependent upon what the market's going to bring us. Just a couple of days ago, there was some news that Representative Luna said that she caught wind from an insider in the Trump administration that there is a 99% chance that he's going to fire Jerome Powell. And that had a direct effect on bonds and interest rates. And interest rates showed a noticeable drop. Just the idea that Powell would be out of there and Trump would replace him with his own sycophant, probably a Besant, more likely than not. And of course, Trump in the past has said that he wants interest rates down at least 3 points, down from its current 4.25 down to 1.25. And of course, the market would love that. I tell you that if we got that in just one, I don't know how they would do it in one fell swoop, but why not? I mean, I think all these interest rates are arbitrary anyways. It would be amazing to see what would happen to the market. So, anyways, let's get into our analysis. Markets are starting with that optimistic nudge. Futures are lifting lightly after yesterday's softer than expected PPI. Keep the rate cut hopes alive. I don't think that there's going to be a rate cut this next meeting, which is July 30. Then the next rate cut meeting would be in September. If you look at the Fed futures, they are certainly predicting for September a significant cut. And or when I say significant, probably 50 basis points, maybe. You know, it's been a long while. They've been pausing a long while on this theory that tariffs are going to cause inflation, but anything but has ensued. Inflation is down. There's just no doubt about it. If you look at the CPI and the PPI numbers this past week, and it's been a continuing story. It flies in the face of the Fed's theories. So, anyways, the S&P is inching a little higher on the continued AI spark from companies like NVIDIA and also, I would say, from Tesla. Tesla, or I should say their association with XAI and Grok. I understand that now Grok, I've been watching some videos on YouTube showing Grok on Teslas now. It's mostly just a toy. It doesn't have any direct control over the car itself. However, you have a talking buddy now in your car. And maybe you could put it on the deranged mode, or maybe the meditative mode, or the therapist mode, and that'll be soothing while you're on your full self-driving. You don't even have to drive the car, right? You just sit there and look ahead and talk to Grok. But I think soon we're going to see full control through a voice interface and with Grok. And I don't know, will Grok argue with you when you want to go somewhere? That'd be interesting. So let's move on here. As I said, the S&P inched higher. The Dow hung steady amid mixed bank vibes. Of course, the banks don't like the idea of interest rates coming down. That cuts out a lot of their margin. And overnight, that uptick carries the soft landing feel, even with tariff whispers and the G20 trade talks underway. That's right. So G20 started today, I believe. The VIX is holding steady, not too edgy. Today's spotlight is on retail sales. That'll be coming up in about 15 minutes. Folks are expecting a tiny bump plus core numbers. There's unemployment claims and the Philly Fed. So today's an economic calendar report day fiasco. Not fiasco, cornucopia. So we also have plenty of the Fed governors out there still trying to shape the narrative. So we're kind of like in this holding pattern, but when you're in this holding pattern, those are the times when those convex tail risk trades really start brightening. You can get cheap prices, or the price of puts start becoming a little bit cheaper. And so we put those maybe 3 to 5 day out convex trades out there with maybe a 50 wide put fly, and only pay tiny, tiny bits of money. You want to find that convex level. And that's the level where the rate of price increase is dramatic. And so you can get into super cheap flies that look relatively close to the current market. Typically on a 50 wide fly, I'd be paying something like, I don't know, 50 to 80 cents. Yeah, I'm totally serious. That will put the fly about one standard deviation out of the money. And you might wonder, well, how do I make money? Well, I did that yesterday and made $900 on that move down. I don't have to get into the fly in order to make huge money on my risk. I mean, $900 on risking, let's see, what did I risk? $150? Not bad. Not bad at all. So that's our game. Tiny risk, large potential profit. Now, had it moved and fallen into that volume profile pit, or I call it a volume profile well, just below our current price, maybe I can be a little bit more explicit with that and show you what I'm talking about. All right. So here's our current volume profile picture. You can see that we have 2 major nodes, and then right in between them is an area where there's very little activity, because that's where we kind of broke out of that long-standing move from June and beyond. And that created a very low area of liquidity. And so when price dips down there, it dips down fast. And if it would catch a little bit below this green line here at 62.26, it could drop dramatically. So that little move right there, that little tail, is what made me $900. Had it moved down into this area, and it could have very easily have done that, that same trade could have turned into a $2,000 to $4,000 trade for that same risk. Actually, it would have been quite a bit more than that. My potential on that trade was $9,000. So imagine that, a $9,000 trade on 150 buck, 150 bucks. That's it. That's what we're looking at, and that could have very easily happened. Now it could happen today too. Who knows? Any little thing could pop up on the airwaves and spook a market and bring it down. On the other hand, it could break out here too. We're very close to all-time highs. Yeah, we could just as easily break out because there's also low liquidity above there. But I think this market is really waiting for something major to happen. They'll probably hang on until the G20 is finished, or to see what wonderful things come out of that. So we'll just have to wait and see. So on 0DTE, that's my 0DTE trade. So I put that on for today, and then I put on my convex trades, which are a few days out, looking for this area. Actually, it's like a Batman, where we put one above the market, one below the market. All right. So that's about it. Let's bring it back to the big head here. Where's that button? There we go. Do I have anything else on my docket here? Let's see. Object equals data breeze. I like that. Tension. Cheer versus shadows. What is this? Small seed. Peak at lower support for playful bounces. What's your morning read? Share below. Like the sub. Risk yours. Oh. So this is my AI telling me how I should close out this this morning's talk. But anyways, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be here tomorrow morning, but it is going to be from Prince Edward Island. It's about 2.5 hours north of here. We'll be leaving this this beautiful scenery I've got here behind me for another very beautiful scenery. Hopefully, we'll be able to show that on the morning show. So all's good. Dogs are having a great time. The wife and I have been doing lots of trail walking. So yeah, there you go. All right, everybody. I hope you all have a great trading day. This is Coach Ernie, and I am out.